Hello viewers, in this session we will continue our topic which is production of concrete. As we know, production of concrete has various stages that we have to follow. First of all, we have to measure the ingredients of the concrete required for the particular mix. It's known as batching. So our first step is batching of concrete. Then after the batching, we have to mix it properly. And we have a different methods like hand mixing, machine mixing, but in accurate mixing, we prefer the machine mixing. And then after the mixing of the concrete, we have to transport the concrete from the production to our existing site. In that case, we have a different methods for the transporting, and depending upon the requirement and the site situation, we have to select the particular type of the transportation for the concrete. And after the transporting, we have to placing of the concrete in the proper manner. Otherwise, this will affect to the fresh property and the hardened property of the concrete mass. Then, after the placing of the concrete, we require compaction of the concrete. Compaction means the removal of the entrapped air from the concrete mass. This is the essential process we have to do. Otherwise, the strength of the concrete will be affected by the entrapped air. And the next step is finishing of the concrete, and our last step is curing of concrete to provide moisture to the concrete for the complete hydration process and developing the hardening of concrete. So these are the main steps for the production of concrete. In the previous session, we already discussed about the batching of concrete, mixing of concrete, transporting of concrete, and placing of concrete. In this session, we will discuss about compacting, finishing, and curing of concrete. Now, let us discuss about compacting of concrete. Compaction of concrete. What is compaction? Compaction is the process of molding concrete within the forms and around the embedded parts in order to expel the entrapped air from the concrete and to obtain the homogeneous dense mass. If we talk about the compaction in easy language, so the removal of the entrapped end to achieve the dense material and the homogeneous material, so it's known as the compaction. And the density, strength, and the durability of the concretes depend upon the quality of compaction, because with the well compacted concrete you will get the high workability, compressibility, strength of the concrete, and durability of concrete. So it's depend upon the compaction. And which are the methods for the compaction? There are the many methods available. You can choose anyone depending upon the site situation and the requirements, like hand compaction, compaction by vibration, compaction by pressure, compaction by spinning. So these are the methods you can use for the compaction. Now let us discuss about hand compaction. The rod hand compaction, you can see on your screen there are the different methods for the hand compaction. First one is rodding. You can see on your first picture on your screen. This is the rodding method, and rodding is nothing but poking the concrete with the rod about 2 meter length and 16 mm diameter. So this is the simple method and you can apply. This is the one kind of the hand compaction. The second one is ramming. The ramming is normally done in the unreinforced foundation. You can see on your screen, or in the ground floor construction. So this is the ramming. And the third one is for the compacting. The dry concrete surface is rammed by, you can see in the on your screen, the third picture shows that the rammer with the heavy flat bottom rammer until the thin film of or the mortar paste appear on the surface of the concrete. So these are the three methods for the hand compaction: rodding, ramming, and heavy flat bottom rammers. And the tamping is adopted in the compacting roof, floor, or the road pavements where the thickness of the concrete is comparatively less and the surface to be finished smooth and level. And you can also apply the hand compaction by the tamping concrete a wooden beam of the cross beam with the dimension of 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. So this all about the hand compaction. Now let us discuss about compaction by vibration. You can see on your screen there are many methods for the vibration for compaction like internal vibrators, external vibrators, table vibrators, and surface vibrators. You can use any one method depending upon the situation and the requirement of the compaction of your existing site. So these are the compaction by the vibration. Now, let us discuss about curing of concrete. As we know, the concrete mass require the moisture for the complete hydration process and after the mixing, transporting, placing and the compaction, our next stage is the curing. If you are not providing the proper curing on the concrete mass, in that case, this will affect to the hardened property as well as the durability of the concrete mass. In general, in the laboratories, we are measuring the hardened properties of the concrete mass. We require 7 days and the 28 days for the particular concrete mix. For example, if we are finding the hardened property of the concrete mass for the M20 grade of the it indicates the strength is achieved after the 28 days with the curing of the concrete curing with the water mass. So after the curing you will get the strength of the concrete mass. So in general the concrete we require 7 days and 28 days curing for the particular mix, and the concrete mix is indicates that like M20, so it indicates that the 20 Newton per mm square at the end of the 28 days with curing. So this all about the curing. So and if we talk about the grade of the cement, which is also required the hardened properties with the curing, and in that case we require 3 days, 7 days and 28 days of the cube of the cement mass. And in the cement mass grade shows like 33 grade, 43 grade and 53 grade of the cement mass. So what is 53 grade of the cement mass? It indicates the 20 strength of the cement with 28 days curing with the water mass, and it indicates the grade of the cements. So the grades of the cement as well as the concrete, they require the hardened property at the end of the 28 days curing, and after the providing the curing your concrete will be not capable to give you the strength of the concrete, because there is a not sufficient to use a good quality of the ingredient, good mixing, good transporting and the good placing. There is the must sufficient curing required to achieve the hardened property and the durability with the proper curing. Curing of concrete can be defined as the process of the keeping the concrete moist and warm enough so that hydration of cement may continue until the desired property of are developed. So you have to provide the moisture to the concrete mass to complete hydration process, and that will give you the proper hardening properties at the end of the 28 days. And the period of curing the concrete be kept the moist for the at least the 7 days and the preferably 14 days when the ordinary cement is used, is depending upon the type of the elements of your existing structure. And the rapid hardening cement requires less time, and the slow hardening cement requires more time comparatively to the ordinary Portland cement. So curing of concrete and cements, it's also affected by the type of the concrete and the type of the cement. Low heat cement is used. The curing period must extend it up to the 21 to 28 days. Now let us discuss about method of curing. There are the many methods for the curing, like water curing. You can apply the moisture to the concrete mass by the water. By the membrane curing, you can apply the membrane for the curing and application of heat. And the fourth one is calcium chlorides. So these four methods you can apply for the curing, and you can choose any one depending upon the type of the situation and requirement of the concrete mass. Now let us discuss about water curing. The water curing you can see on your screen. The water curing can be done in the following ways, like with the immersion, with the ponding, with the spraying, with the wet covering. So these methods you can apply for water curing. Here I have taken the local photos so you can understand easily. This spraying method is very really essential in our construction field, and we are using generally this type of the method. You can spray the water and apply the moisture to the concrete mass to achieving the hardened properties of the concrete. And then here you can see the spray and the wet covering also done on the column, and the spray water spray is also applied to this column. And here the any surface like the roof and the other surfaces you can create the pond situation, and you can apply by the ponding method. So these are the method you can apply by the water curing. It's depend upon the requirement and the situation of your existing site. Let us discuss in detail. First one is immersion. Immersion is the precast concrete element like the poles, pipes, doors, window frames, and our testing tubes, cylinders, beams, or frames are normally immersed in the concrete, and with applying at the end of the 7 days and the 28 days, we can achieve the proper hardened strength of the precast element as well as the test cubes, test cylinder, and the test beam for the measuring of the hardened properties of the concrete mass. You can achieve the hardened property with this immersion method. So this is the one of the method of the water curing. Our next method is ponding. You can see on your screen, this is the ponding method. This is the good method for the flat horizontal surface like floor slabs, roof slabs, and pavement slabs, etc. So you can create like the situation like the ponds, and the little earth dams are built over the entire area, cover the forming the square and the rectangular. You can shape it depending upon the shape of your slab and the roof, and the flooded with the water to depth of 50 mm or so. So you can create this situation, and you can apply the moisture to the concrete mass with the ponding method. Now let us discuss about spraying. Spraying is a common method. We are generally adopt this type of the method, and very useful to curing the vertical surface, inclined surface like the retaining wall, precast surfaces, concrete columns, bridge piers, etc. So you can apply the spray on the concrete surface. So this is the spraying method. Let us discuss about wet covering. You can see on your second picture of the photo, in the some case the wet covering like the gunny bags and the clothes just matting and the wrapped to the vertical surface for keeping the concrete curing. And you can apply this method for the moisture, for applying the moisture content of the concrete block. And in this method the horizontal to be curved is with about 50 thick of earth, sawdust, and etc. The material is kept moist by the periodical sprinkling of water. So this type of the curing you can apply for the horizontal surface, and the gunny bags you can apply for the vertical or the inclined surface. So this method you can apply for the vertical, horizontal, and the inclined surface. Now, let us discuss about membrane curing. In the membrane curing, now let us discuss about membrane curing. Membrane curing is developing day by day because India is country with many arid and semi-arid regions, and the many regions where there is a lack of the water. As such, the circumstances is desirable to go for the membrane curing because the saving of the water is possible with these methods. And in case of the membrane curing, for the surface of the concrete is covered by the membrane and the sealing compound, there is a not a requirement to provide the external moisture to the concrete surface, and the concept is that the removal of the water it's stopped. The concept is this: the barrier is provided from the removal of the water from the concrete mass, and this is the membrane layer. And the membrane curing can be done in these following ways, like black compounds, clear compounds, waterproof paper. So with these three methods, you can apply the membrane curing, and the clear compounds absorb the much less heat than the black compounds. And here you can see on your screen, table shows that the sealing compound like coal tar cutback, asphalt cutback, clear compounds, and the number of coats required for particular sealing compounds, the two number of the coats required for the coal tar cutback, and the two number of the coats required for the asphalt cutback, and three or two number of the coats required for the clear compounds cutback, compounds sealing compounds. So these are the compounds and the number of the coats required for the particular sealing compounds. Now let us discuss about application of heat. The curing of the concrete by the application of the heat is done in the following manner. First one is steam curing. Second one is low pressure steam curing. Third one is high pressure steam curing. Fourth one is internal curing. And fifth one is electrical curing. You can apply the heat to your concrete surface. You can see on your screen, this is the one of the best method for the application of the moisture to the concrete, and with this method you can apply the moisture to the concrete mass. You can choose any one method for the application of heat. The steam curing, the hydration acceleration with the temperature when the heat is applied to concrete. You can see on your screen, this is the steam curing method for the curing of concrete. And the concrete with the water cement ratio ranging with 0.3 to 0.7 can be cured by the steam curing. And the steam curing can be done by the atmospheric pressure or under pressure. And the steam curing of the concrete should be followed by the water curing for the period of at least 7 days. And the 1 day strength of the concrete stream cured under the pressure can be equal to the 28 days strength of the normally cured concrete. Now you can imagine this, the efficiency of the steam curing compared to the water curing. But after the mixing of the concrete, transporting of the concrete, placing of the concrete, compaction of the concrete, finishing of the concrete, you should provide the moisture to the concrete mass to achieve the hardened property. Without curing, there is not possible to get the hardening of the concrete, and you will not get the particular strength of the concrete at the end of the 28 days. So it is essential to provide the curing to the concrete mass, otherwise that will not give you the hardened property and the durability of the concrete mass. So depending upon the situation and the type of the concrete and the requirement of the concrete mass, so you have to choose any one method and apply the curing to the concrete mass to achieving the hardened property as well as the durability of the concrete mass. Thank you.